What is up everyone, how's it going? Hope you're keeping well and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. The European games have come to an end and that means we've got to shift our focus back to FPL, and with a deadline tomorrow morning we've got to act fast and plan accordingly for the game week ahead. In today's video I'm going to show you how I fared out in Gameweek 32. I'm going to also be looking at my transfer plans and team selection ahead of Gameweek 33. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know it's in my plans that I'm looking to free hit in Gameweek 34. I've got 2 free transfers to use this week, so that means I have to use them. Otherwise they're going to go to waste. We've lots to discuss, let's get into the video. Before we get into today's video, quick reminder to give the video a like, and let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. So head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. I'm currently on the road to 6k subs, trying to get there before the end of the season. It's possible, we have a small bit of work to do, so we need a big push on now for the last 6 game weeks of the season. So if you haven't done so already, I'd really appreciate it if you could click subscribe and help me on my way to hitting that milestone. Game week 32 review, as you can see here on screen, I scored 62 points for the game week. Wasn't the worst score, but it did see me get a small red arrow, and I've now dropped from 83k to 88k overall. Choosing Cole Palmer for the captaincy over Mo Salah was the reason I did get that small red arrow. I was 3 points away off getting a green arrow, and Mo Salah outscored Palmer by 5 points. Mo Salah captainers can feel rather fortunate, as he had a very quiet game at Old Trafford, only for that late penalty, and he did pick up a bonus point from that. But there's two sides to it as well. Palmer had a very quiet game, so I was pretty relieved for him to get that assist and 10-point return from the armband. Youngman's Son only getting 5 points, Erling Haaland getting 8, Salah getting 8, and Palmer getting 5. There was no real difference between the captaincy split, so I can't be too fussed on that. Main talking points from the game week was my man Aït-Nouri returned once again in that advanced left wing position when he was fouled for a penalty. I was in the gym during the 3 o'clock games, and when I saw Aït-Nouri's name pop up for that assist, I had a bit of a celebration in the gym, so it definitely looked a bit weird to the people around me, but I just couldn't describe the feeling when I saw his name pop up. When I've been speaking so highly of him the last couple of weeks, he definitely repaid the fate. We were 4 minutes away from greatness, but unfortunately Aït-Nouri came off with an injury in the 56th minute, so we missed out on those clean sheet points disappointingly, but I can't be too disappointed with the fact he did get that attack in return. He is a slight injury out now ahead of tomorrow's deadline, so I'm going to have to keep a close eye on the Wolves press conference later today, and fingers crossed he will be alright for the weekend's fixture. Looking at the Arsenal lads, they were consistent once again, with Gabriel picking up a clean sheet. That's now 3 clean sheets for Arsenal in their last 3 games, and Bukayo Saka scored from the spot and picked up all 3 bonus points to come away with a 10-point return. The less said the better about my Chelsea double defence, especially with Gusto, who was left out of the Chelsea squad completely with an illness, but that meant Udogie subbed into my team. He was up against Nottingham Forest at home, so I was pretty hopeful of a clean sheet, but unfortunately Chris Wood wiped out that Spurs clean sheet and Udogie only came away with 2 points. Looking at Petrovic then away to Sheffield United, Chelsea were probably one of the favourites for a clean sheet last week, so it was extremely disappointing to see him concede twice, and he was at fault for the first goal as well. So with Sanchez back in training, it's not looking great at the moment, definitely not, no, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Petrovic lose a spot if he continues his current form, and Sanchez could come back into that starting 11. So I am pretty much regretting bringing in that double Chelsea defence on my wildcard back in Game Week 30, but with a 2 double game weeks still to come for Chelsea in 35 and 37, fingers crossed Petrovic can keep his place and Gusto can keep fit. 62 points for the game week, so in Game Week 32, small red arrow down to 88k. We do have 2 free transfers now to use ahead of the Game Week 33 deadline, so fingers crossed we just make sure it's a green arrow this week and get back up the ranks. This week was the announcement of the double game week in Game Week 37, and it sees 6 teams doubling: Chelsea, Brighton, Man City, Man United, Newcastle and Spurs, all with 2 fixtures in Game Week 37. Looking at my current chip strategy, I'm going to be looking towards building towards a bench boost in Game Week 37, and with my current team, as of now, I've got 9 double gaming players for Game Week 37, so we're in a really nice place at the moment on building for the bench boost. So I've got 3 from Chelsea, Petrovic, Gusto and Palmer, 1 from Brighton in Van Heck, 1 from Man City and Erling Haaland, Garnacho from Man United, Isak from Newcastle, and then finishing off with 2 Spurs, Udogie and Son. So 9 players. As of now, I got 2 free transfers this week, and if I use my 2 free transfers and build towards having players in my team, that double in Game Week 37, that'll bring me towards 11. And then if I use my free transfers on the way up until Game Week 37, I should easily get 13, 14, potentially even 15 double gaming players if I want to get rid of Mo Salah. But yeah, that'll be building towards a really strong bench boost, and fingers crossed we can score some good points on that bench boost in Game Week 37. So let's shift our focus back to Gameweek 33, and here's how I'm currently lining out ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Keep in mind I have got 2 free transfers to use, and I am looking to use the 2 of them, as I will be looking to play my free hit in Gameweek 34. So plenty of free hit content coming your way on the channel next week, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's focus on Gameweek 33. So looking at my team for Gameweek 33, Caoimhin Kelleher comes back into my starting 11 with Liverpool up against Crystal Palace at home this weekend. Petrovic is up against Everton at home, but he does move to the bench as I'm sick and tired of losing my Chelsea clean sheets over the last couple of games. It's bad enough having one Chelsea defender, never mind 2, so I'm not going to put myself through that pain this game. So Kelleher comes into the team. Hopefully he can keep his place in the Liverpool side. Alisson is back in training, but I'm going to have to keep a close eye on Klopp's press conference, and fingers crossed Kelleher can get a start this weekend. Moving on to the defence, we'll start off with Gabriel, and Arsenal having in great form in defence over the last couple of games. 3 clean sheets in their last 3 for Arsenal, and they're up against Aston Villa at home this weekend. Aston Villa are in decent scoring form at the moment, so it might be difficult for Arsenal to keep their clean sheet. But with Gabriel in my team there, I've only 1 Arsenal defender, and the majority of managers do have 2 Arsenal defenders, so I just have to cover myself by having Gabriel in the team. So as weird as it sounds, I'll probably be hoping Arsenal concede, but there's always a chance Gabriel can come away with an attacking return at the weekend. Up next in defence is Aït-Nouri, and he's up against Nottingham Forest this weekend. He has a slight injury risk after being subbed off early against West Ham in Gameweek 32, so I am going to have to keep a close eye on Gary O'Neill's press conference later on today. Aït-Nouri's been an absolute joy to own over the last couple of game weeks. 1 goal and 1 assist since bringing him into the team on my wildcard. 12 points, 12 massive differential points, so I really am hoping he will be fit for the weekend, as we've been really playing well in that advanced position for Wolves. Looking at the Wolves socials, he was spotted in the gym doing some gym work, but he wasn't spotted on the grass. So as I said, I'm going to have to keep a close eye on Gary O'Neill's press conference, and fingers crossed he will be alright for the weekend. Gusto completes my 3-man defence, and he's up against Everton on Monday night. As I said, the Chelsea defence has been very disappointing to own over the last couple of games since bringing them in on the wildcard. But with Gusto, there's always a chance of an attacking return from him. He was left out of the squad in Gameweek 22 against Sheffield United with an illness, and Poch said he did need a rest with the quick turnaround for the game. But I am expecting Gusto to come back into the Chelsea starting 11 on Monday night, so that's why he earns a spot in my starting 11. Fingers crossed, if they do concede, fingers crossed at least he can come away with an attacking return. But I can't put myself through double Chelsea defence, so that's why Petrovic is on the bench and Kelleher is in goals. I do have Van Heck on my bench away to Burnley as well, so a good fixture for Brighton there as well. So if Aït-Nouri is out, I can always sub Van Heck into the team. But that's the backline for now. Let's move on to midfield. Moving on to my midfield, we won't dwell on it too much as it is the current template 4-man midfield in Mo Salah, Heung-min Son, Bukayo Saka and Cole Palmer. Starting off with Salah, he's up against Crystal Palace at home this weekend on Sunday afternoon. A very leaky Crystal Palace defence, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Salah get well amongst the returns this weekend. He did get a slight rest in the European game last night. He was brought on in the second half, just after half time, but I am expecting Salah to be well amongst the returns. On the Heung-min Son, he's up against Newcastle in the early kick-off. Fingers crossed it will be similar to that West Ham game a couple of weeks ago when we saw a 4-3 thriller at St James's Park. So fingers crossed Isak and Son is involved in the early kickoff on Saturday. Bukayo Saka and Cole Palmer complete my 4-man midfield. Palmer and Saka both in great form at the moment, both penalty takers for their own team, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some returns from the 2 lads in midfield. That's how midfield is shaping up. Let's move on now and have a look at my strikers. Alexander Isak, Erling Haaland and Darwin Núñez complete my starting 11, and we'll start off with Núñez. Núñez is up against Crystal Palace at home. He's in decent form at the moment, 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 2 games, so he's ticking along nicely, but, and a big but, he has been very, very wasteful over the last few games for Liverpool, so he could have come away with some mega hauls over the last few games, but at least he did get some returns. But Jota, he's just back from injury. He made a late cameo in the European game last night. Núñez did play 60 minutes as well last night, so there is some question marks on whether or not he will start. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Klopp's press conference later on today. Up next then is Alexander Isak up in the early kickoff against Spurs. As I said, I'll be hoping for some goals in the early kickoff with Son and Isak both involved. Fingers crossed the 2 of them can get amongst the returns. And I'm finishing off Erling Haaland up against Luton at home in the 3 o'clock games. There's question marks whether or not Haaland will start the Luton game with the Champions League tie all square with Real Madrid and Man City. Me, at the moment, I do think Haaland starts, and he could be taken off around the 60th or 70th minute mark if the game is done and dusted. Yeah, that's how the starting 11 is lining out. And if it sounds like before the game, if we do get some league team news, and if it sounds like Haaland isn't going to start, I can always just sub in Garnacho for Haaland, and then the team is still in good shape from that. That's how I'm currently shaping up, but as I said, I have got 2 free transfers to use. let's move on now and have a look at my transfer plans ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Transfer plans ahead of the Gameweek 33 deadline. I've got 2 free transfers to use, and I definitely want to use my 2 free transfers as I will be looking to free hit in Gameweek 34, and I don't want to lose any free transfers. So with me free hitting in 34, I'll be looking to bench boost in Gameweek 37, and my free transfers this week will be focused on building my bench boost in Gameweek 37. So option 1 here on screen. I've got a few options, but I'm going to chat through my options, but here's option 1, and that'll be taking out Queven Kelleher, taking out Darwin Núñez, and bringing in Onana, and then HAALAND or João Pedro up front. Bringing in Onana and HAALAND or João Pedro gives me 2 extra players for my bench boost with Man United Dublin and Brighton Dublin in Gameweek 37. To be fair to the 2 teams, Brighton and Man United, they both have some nice fixtures coming up over the next few game weeks also. Looking at HAALAND and looking at João Pedro up front, HAALAND is definitely the safer pick for expected minutes. With João Pedro, he could be a lovely punt, but it's only if De Zerbi does play him over the next couple of game weeks. He's just coming back from injury. He did get about 27 minutes against Arsenal last week, so we're not sure if he's going to start the weekend. But Burnley, if he does start that Burnley game, there's every chance João Pedro can get amongst returns with him being on penalties then as well. But for now, with expected minutes, I'm probably leaning towards HAALAND, but that could easily change before the deadline and João Pedro could come in there. But that's option 1. Kelleher out, Onana in, Onana with the double game week in 37, and then Darwin Núñez out, and then HAALAND or João Pedro coming in then for the double game week for the bench boost in 37 also. With Núñez then as well, I can always free hit Núñez back into the team if I want to have Núñez back on my free hit team, but I'll probably be looking towards Salah, Diaz, and maybe Jota if Jota is looking like he's back fit, or maybe Trent if Trent is back fit then as well. But Núñez is on below the pecking order at the moment. Salah, Diaz are definitely my 2 preferred on the free hit as of now. But that's option 1. Let's move on and have a look at option 2. Here's option 2 on how I'm going to use my 2 free transfers. It'll be taking out Bukayo Saka, bringing in Phil Foden, and then if Aït-Nouri is ruled out for the weekend, I can take out Aït-Nouri and bring in Dan Burn. You might be a bit confused. That's why I'm thinking about taking out Saka. It's because I still have my free hit left. I can take out Saka and then have him back in my free hit then for a game week 34. And just with Foden, I know he got injured against Real Madrid, but if we do get concrete news that Foden is going to start that Luton game, I'm going to bring Foden in, as that's a fixture Foden can easily return well in. Aït-Nouri, I'll be reluctant to get rid of Aït-Nouri, but it's the same story. If I want Aït-Nouri on my free hit in 34, I can easily just have him back into the team on my free hit. But just with Dan Burn, the main purpose of getting Dan Burn into the team is building towards that bench boost in Game Week 37. So option 1, focusing on Man United or Brighton players, and then option 2 is getting Foden and Dan Burn in. But the main takeaway from this is Man United, Brighton, Man City and Newcastle all have double game weeks in 37. So I'll be using my 2 free transfers to bring in double game week players and build towards my bench boost. So I've got a few decisions to make on my transfers, and I've also got a decision to make on the captaincy for the weekend. As of now, it's on Erling Haaland. If we do get some concrete news that Haaland is going to start, I'm going to leave the armband on Haaland. But I'm about 55% in favour of Haaland and then 45% in favour of Mo Salah. So I think it's going to come down to the wire on my deadline stream on Saturday. But for now, the armband is on Haaland, and I'm going to have to lock in my transfers on the deadline stream on Saturday morning once we get some team news. Fingers crossed we do get some City team news, but I think we will. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 80 likes on this video. If you are still watching and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button below. Currently on the road to 6k subs, trying to get there before the end of the season, so I'd really appreciate it if you could head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel and help me on my way to hitting that milestone. I'll see you all bright and early on Saturday morning for a deadline stream, a Gameweek 33 deadline stream, and fingers crossed we will get some City team news on the stream also. Thanks for watching, best of luck for the week, I'll see you in the next video.